Hey class, it's Nisi. I'm coming today with my article that I have is from the Society for Research and Child Development, and it's an article by Maria A. Zondervan Zwegenberg, that name. But it was published in July 31st, 2019, and the title is Parental Age and Offspring, Childhood Mental Health, and a Multi-Cohort Population-Based Investigation. So in this study, they were really trying to find out what the correlation is between a child having mental health issues, being born by parents that are in, say, their early 20s or 30s, or after 40 years old. And I thought this article was really excellent, actually, because they give like some of a lot of the things that would be concerning, but they also give so many that were like benefits of having children at an older age. And that encouraged me because my husband and I are in our 50s. Me, a young 50-year-old, just turned 50 in December, and my husband's going on 55 next month. And we have a 13-year-old, and we also have a son that is turning 20. He is autistic, and so cognitively, he's around like sixth grade, seventh grade, right? So we're still parenting and training and things, and so I did find this a little bit encouraging. So some of the things that they noted, and that I took note of here in this article by, I'm going to call her Zondervan, is that they first did say that there's some disadvantages biologically, because, and physically, because of, our age, and like in childbearing, there's some difficulties that come with that when, actually after 35 years old, right? There's a lot of things that they will consider you at risk when you're having a child at that age. And so, as a parent, though, once you've had your children, but now you're in your 50s and they're still young, they have a lot of research that they've done on that, and I found it extremely fascinating. Sorry, my camera's falling. So some of the physical disadvantages that they say, and the way this, and before I go into some of those things, the way it connects with our reading from Bigner, Gottman, and Newton in our chapters that we read this week is that as Newton and Bigner, they're actually really giving the stages of what's happening at these different milestones and everything. And Newton, really talking about how that connection happens. And again, the stages, what happens. And one thing that's across all of the reading is that as these children are becoming, as they're toddler preschool, these kids are so active. They're so active. So that's a little bit of a disadvantage. Especially in our country, because, I'm not trying to knock anybody down or anything like that, but in our country, and this is something also that's in our reading, they actually talked about obesity, right? And so, and the parents having that role of helping the children to, to model healthy nutrition, right? And so, if a parent in their older age, and a lot of times as we get older, it's harder to stay fit, it's harder to stay out of that range of and getting into an unhealthy body weight and things. And so it takes us a little bit more effort to do that. So because of that, when we have a 2-year-old, 3-year-old preschooler, and they're so active, and also as they're getting into school age, the preschooler, maybe they're going to a daycare or whatever, there's just a lot of activity with these children. And so we have to move a lot. We would move a lot. And I'm telling you, I have my 13-year-old, and we exercise as a family, and it's priority to us. And it takes my husband and I way more effort it did than when we were in our, our teens and things, because we were both extremely athletic, basketball, baseball was my husband. I was basketball, I was track. And so, seriously, I do not move like I used to. My mind thinks I can, but I can't. So that's something they talk about in this article, is that physically there are some challenges that way. And also our reading talked about that too. So that is, for me, that really stood out. Like, wow, Nisi, stay on track of that. Take note of these things. So that's one of the challenges. But here's one of the things that they were saying, things that happen with the neural development of a child when they're born to, that's the study they're doing, when they're born to a parent that are older, right? Or like especially the woman that's older. So they're linking it to the neural development and like autism and schizophrenia and things like that. So one of the things they said, and quote, is it says, oh wait, I lost my place. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. Oh, here it is. I have these notes. I took notes, but I lost my place. Sorry, guys. So here's one of the things they're saying. As a large number of research reports highlight that increased maternal age at childbirth is associated with several adverse consequences, ranging, like I talked about the physical problems, and some of those physical problems too, like this, the BMI, the body mass index, okay, that's our weight and everything. When that's high, they talked about blood pressure as well. You have a hard time with blood pressure, to psychiatric conditions such as autism. Now they're talking about the baby or the children, bipolar, symptoms of depression, anxiety, stress, and poor social functioning. But this is all research, but these are some of the problems that they say could happen. They did note that in some research that they did in 2017, that in over 40 million live births, 2007 to 2016, having an older father increased the risk of low birth rate and the APGAR score. So, and premature. And so premature birth. So those are some of the risks that goes with that. But comparing it, so those would be some of the challenges that they would watch, and the doctors would watch that too, as a woman is pregnant in her 40s and things, or even into her 50s. There was some of those phenomena happening, but not here. And within our reading, especially when I was reading with Gottman and the emotional coaching of the preschooler and the toddler and the preschooler, one of the pros of having a child at an older age was that the parent is more stable. And that's some of the benefits that they were talking about, that Maria Zondervan talked about here in her article, is that they have more stability as far as where they are in life, financially. They're more able to take things at a smoother level because they've gained more wisdom, and they're not as frantic as they might be when they're in their 20s. And so these are some of the positives with that. And able, and I'm here to pull some other things out, and able more to be able to handle some of those situations that come up. So even if the child had autism or some other psychological things that are going on and psychosocial things going on, the older parent has more of a stability to be able to handle those things. And then of course, when we look at Newton and he's talking about the bonding and things like that goes on with the child at an early age, and how it plays out in that toddler age and that preschool age. So for these older parents, a challenge might be, especially if they have to put their child in childcare, which our reading was talking about. If they have to put their child in childcare, because both parents are working, because usually they're established, the older people are established in their careers and maybe having, 20 more years until they retire. So that two income family, the bonding, because a mom usually goes back to work about 8 weeks old, when the baby's 8 weeks old. And so if they're in childcare or left with a family member, the bonding with the mother may not be as intact as if that mother was staying at home. So those are a lot of things to consider when the parents are having children as they're older. So I'm really hoping I answered all of the questions. If I didn't, oh my goodness. But I think I did. Tell me what you guys think. Yeah, thanks. I look forward to hearing all your videos and seeing your videos. So thanks. See you later.